Hi. So today I am going to do the Booktube Newbie Tag because I feel like this could be an easier way to do kind of like an introduction of my channel. Obviously I'm going to do the tag, but afterwards I'll also be like talking more about what videos I've planned for the nearby future, or ideas that I have that I wanted to make. Obviously they're going to be like TBRs and wrap-ups and like maybe book reviews, but like I have a Bookstagram for that, so I think most of my reviews will be on my Bookstagram. But if there is a situation where I want to be talking more about a book that I can like type down in the description of my post, I will then just make a video about it. I think I already know what book I'm going to make a video about because that is criminal that no one talks about this book. Anyway, let's get to the first question. So the first question is, why did you start this channel? Essentially for a couple of reasons. One of them being I am terrible at talking. More often than not, I will fumble over my words. I will eat half of my words and no one understands what I'm saying. I will also sometimes be talking way too fast as if I'm scared that someone's going to cut me off. So I feel like this way, talking into a camera, talking about something that I'm passionate about will maybe like teach me to articulate better and talk properly to get my point across. Because my friends, whenever I talk to them about a certain book, I will more often than not make just random noises and facial expressions than actual words. The other reason is just simply Booktube is one of the reasons I actually got into reading. I don't think I would have gone this sort of addiction situation if it weren't for Booktube. I feel like joining the community already a long time ago because sometimes there are books that aren't as popular and so I don't see a lot of people talking about them, and I wanted to just have a space where I can just rant about it and I can just shove forward a bunch of books that I think deserve more attention. Okay, the second question is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? Maybe somewhere along the line, if I actually don't give up on this again, so maybe somewhere along the line something might come up to answer that question. You know, I'm just here to have fun and rant about books to other people other than my friends that are already tired, me in general. But also because like we don't always have the same reading taste, so more often than not when there's a book that I absolutely love, they have no interest in. What are you most excited about this new channel? Getting to rant about books in general, and maybe also recommend some of my own underrated favorites to other people who might like them too. Why do you love reading? Reality sucks, obviously. I think it's a very basic answer. I think anyone who's done this tag, I mean, I've seen many YouTubers do this tag. Whenever they're asked why they love reading so much, it's always the same answer. It's just escapism. I just love it when the world around me is on fire, and when I want to just get away from it all, there is ink on dead trees that can transport me to another world, and I think that's really cool. What book or series got you into reading? The Waterfire Saga by Jennifer Donnelly. Hold on, let me grab it. These 4 books started this madness right here. This is the saga. Funny story actually. At first I only bought the first book because B. M. Miller, one of my favorite artists of all time, made a song based off of a spell in the book, and it was used as like a promotion thing for the book, and I didn't know that at first. And then I saw it was based off of a book, and at that point like, I only read, like I was in the middle of reading one book, but it wasn't really reading it. I was just kind of skimming over the words. So I bought this one, and same thing as the book that I was reading before. For the first half of the first book, I was kind of skimming over the words. Didn't even pay attention where I would stop. I wouldn't even bookmark it. I wouldn't even dog ear it. I would just close the book, and then as soon as I wanted to pick it up again, I just opened it where I think I left off. And that was because in school I wanted to be left alone, and because I saw that other girls in my class had books, which by the way at the time was after when they first were released in physical books, and I saw that everyone left them alone while they were reading, so I wanted to do the same. You know, I did that with the other book, which was Warhorse by Michael Morpurgo. I don't know, I butcher every name. Anyway, so I bought this book just because of B.M. Miller. I didn't really think much of it. I was like, oh, let me actually try it out, and then I just spent 1 year reading the first half of the first book, and then I think a plot twist happened or something happened that caught my attention, and I finished the other half in like a week, and then I bought the other book books, and I finished all the 3 other books in like 2 years maybe. At the time I didn't read much at home. I only like read during the breaks at school, and like at home I barely ever like read because I didn't feel like it at the time. And so yeah, those were the only books I had ever brought to school. And after I actually quit school, I started actually buying more books and reading more books because I didn't have shit else to do. So yeah, I essentially read this series over the course of like 3-4 years, and look where I'm at now. These 4 books have ruined my healthy relationship with my bank account, and now this whole situation is going on anyway. By the way, if you don't know what the Waterfire Saga is about, it's essentially pitched as Percy Jackson but with mermaids. I never read Percy Jackson. I only watched the first movie, which wasn't that good. But you know, I know a lot of people love Percy Jackson, so this being pitched as Percy Jackson with mermaids sounds kind of cool, you know? Essentially, it's a lot of political intrigue, mermaid political intrigue, and there are 6, I think there are 6, yeah. Hold on, let me check. I think there are 6 mermaids. I always forget because there are so many. But yeah, so there are 6 mermaids. No, I think there are 7 because I think they represent the 7 seas. So I think there are 7 mermaids. There are either 6 or 7. I don't know. Maybe I think of the number 6 because of 6 of Crows. I don't know. But yeah, so there are 6 mermaids, and there's this, and essentially on the coronation of I guess the main character. It's an ensemble, but like the first book follows one of the first girls. I guess she's the main character. She's the main character in the first book. Let's just say that. And on her coronation, her whole kingdom is attacked, and she is forced to flee. And she goes on this journey where she meets these 6 other mermaids, one of them being one of her like childhood best friends. And all of these 6 mermaids are descendants of the 6 very first mermaids. I think they were like, I think witches. I don't remember exactly. I think they were like witches. I think they were called the Iele. I remember also reading in the Deathless Girls, so I think that's a Romani term, if I'm saying that correctly. I'm sorry if I'm not. I suck. I think there are 6 of them. My brain. So there is this monster who has been locked away for centuries after they were locked up by these girls' ancestors, and now there's a threat that it's going to escape and essentially destroy all of the oceans, all of the lands. Like the whole world essentially is going to. And so these 6 girls have to go and find the talismans of their ancestors. They are essentially kind of like the keys to keep this monster named Abaddon locked up, and essentially also defeat him finally, because they couldn't defeat him in the first place because one of the ancestors was essentially the evil one who kind of made that monster, and so they weren't powerful enough to completely kill it, so they had to lock it away for as long as possible. And now the 7 or 6 are united and they can essentially kill it. So yeah, and that is over the course of these 4 books, and you follow the POV of every single one of them. It's a lot of political intrigue. There's also a hint of romance. Like each and every one of them has a love interest, I think, except for one. I think. I don't remember exactly. I still have to reread the 2 other ones to, you know, remember the whole story. But yeah, if you like Percy Jackson, I highly recommend the series. It's really fun. It's middle grade, but it's very bloody and violent for it to be a middle grade, so that's kind of questionable. But anyway, it's really fun. It's really cool. I highly recommend. Also, this would be also a great series to get into reading because it's not long, and honestly, it's fast paced, and it also kind of keeps you on the edge. And, you know, makes you want to read more. Like, the first half of the first book, you're kind of confused because you're new to all of it, and, you know, like, fantasy books are always confusing at first. But for the rest, I remember actually really loving them. So yeah, next question. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I guess, how do they read so fast? I'm very slow. Like, really slow. Like, the most books I've read in 1 month are like 3. I think even once I read 4, but like that's rare. That's when I literally had nothing to do in a month. Or maybe how they got used to talking to a camera, because this feels weird, and I hope that feeling goes away over time, because I mean, I'm used to talking to myself, but usually I would be talking nonsense, and even I wouldn't even understand what I was saying, and I would just agree with myself. But this is it's different somehow. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Talking. Definitely talking. When did you start reading? I guess I started reading as a hobby about 2 or 3 years ago, because when I first finished the Waterfire Saga, I didn't like read other books. Not really. It was only like, I think a little before the pandemic that I got into books, essentially. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Where do you read? Anywhere I can. As soon as I have somewhere I have to sit down, either to wait or just to relax or just anything, whether it's at the doctor's office, at the dentist, at waiting for the train, on the train, waiting for the bus, on the bus, at McDonald's, doing breaks at work, doing breaks at school when I still used to go to school. Bref, anywhere I can, I will be reading, because I don't like I can just sit somewhere for hours without doing anything and not getting bored. Like if you were to tell me to sit in a room and wait without telling me how long I'll have to wait, I will just sit there overnight without sleeping, just waiting. Is that a problem? I guess so, but I'm not sure. What kinds of books do you like to read? Mystery. It can be a contemporary, it can be fantasy, sci-fi, horror, paranormal, anything you want. As soon as there's a mystery, like a whodunit mystery aspect to it, I will read it. Like you can tell me the most boring ass romance story, but then you add the mystery element, I will read it just for the mystery, because I like puzzles. Like if you look at my bookshelves, majority of the books that I have will have some sort of mystery aspect to it, even though it's not like a whodunit mystery or like a murder mystery, just a mystery about a character, about why they act a certain way, why they did certain things. That's still a mystery aspect to it, and I will want to figure it out before the book tells me what it is. Also, I really like political intrigue, but then that's mostly in fantasy. Actually, funny story, when I first finished the Waterfire Saga, I liked it a lot and I wanted to read more books like it, but I thought that what I liked was the fantasy aspect to it. However, later on, while reading The Cruel Prince, I realized what I liked was political intrigue. That was what, like, just like the mystery of it, just like the information of the world, is always something that I like to read about, because I've always been fascinated by people who can just completely come up with a world and rules and just a bunch of stuff that, I just find that really cool, and I like reading about it. However, it does pisses me off when there is like a plot hole about either the mystery aspect or the world building or the political intrigue, because I'm like, okay, I respect the effort, but like, this is something you made, how do you still mess it up? Anyway. And the final question is, what does your book collection look like? Well, you can only see like part of it, but hold on, let me actually just... This is essentially like the main shelf, like all of this all the way down there. And then this is kind of like a mess. Mostly up there, and like some of them here are like all of my special editions, like Waterstones editions, Fairy Loot, Illuminate Crate, you know, that whole thing. Then down there are kind of like that is still the Fairy Loot edition of Babel, but that bitch is so big that if I put her there, she essentially hits the top of that shelf, which I'm afraid is going to damage it. So for now, she's down there. But the rest are some books that I'm considering throwing out, or like I just don't want them on my shelves. Just books that I either didn't like, or like I don't feel like reading anytime soon, so that they don't take up space here. So yeah. Also, we kind of have like here a stack of books that are all, 2 of them are DNFs and the other are my ACOTAR series, which I'm planning on selling, but who knows. So that was the Booktube Newbie Tag. I hope you guys like this video. Just a fair warning, majority of my first videos will probably be a whole mess, because I'm not used to it yet. The other videos that I have planned are just a couple of tags, but also obviously it's December, so I am also going to be filming my 2022 wrap-up, but I'm just going to talk about some of my favorite books of the year and some of my like disappointments of the year. I'll also be posting my 2023 anticipated reads, because I went down a rabbit hole last night and I found a bunch of them that I hadn't even heard, like I hadn't seen them announced anywhere. I just like books that come out in like next year. There are a bunch of them already, but like I'm just going to talk about the ones that are coming trying out the first half of 2023, and then in June I'll probably be making a video about like the second half of the year. So yeah, and the others are just a couple of like tags that I thought might be fun to try out, just to get used to it and just talk more. And that way, I think tags are like fun way for you guys to see what my own reading taste is, and like see if you like the books I recommend and how I recommend them. And so yeah, if you want to stick around, stick around. If you don't, that's fine. That is all for today. I hope you guys liked this video, and I will see you next time.